Iran just attacked American troops, not in Iran, not in Iraq, in Saudi Arabia. Less than 72 hours ago, Iranian ballistic missiles screamed through Saudi airspace at Mach 5 targeting Prince Sultan Air Base. 2,500 American military personnel work at that base, F-22 Raptors, F-15 Strike Eagles. The most advanced US air power in the Middle East, and Iran just fired missiles directly at them. Saudi and American defenses intercepted the missiles. No casualties, no damage, but that doesn't matter. Iran crossed a line that hasn't been crossed in decades. They deliberately targeted American forces on Allied soil. This is Strategic Signal Report. I'm Sarah Mitchell. Next 10 minutes, what Iran fired, why they targeted this base, whether the defenses will hold next time, and what this means for every American. Let's go. Here are the facts. Iranian forces launched multiple ballistic missiles toward Saudi Arabia targeting Prince Sultan Air Base, located 115 kilometers southeast of Riyadh. This isn't just any base. Prince Sultan is the largest American military installation in Saudi Arabia, over 2,500 U.S. Air Force personnel stationed there. F-22 Raptors, the most advanced fighters. America has F-15 Strike Eagles, KC-135 refueling tankers, Global Hawk surveillance drones. This is the hub for American air operations across the entire Middle East. The missiles Iran fired were medium-range ballistic weapons, likely Khyber-Shikan or Emad variants. These aren't crude scuds from the 80s. These are modern precision-guided weapons traveling at Mach 4 to Mach 7, carrying 500 to 750 kilogram warheads. Saudi Patriot missile batteries engaged. American systems at the base fired interceptors. At least one missile was intercepted kilometers from the base. Debris fell in open desert. No American casualties reported. No damage to the base confirmed. But here's what matters. Iran fired ballistic missiles at American troops. That's an act of war. And it's the first time Iran has directly targeted US forces in Saudi Arabia since this conflict began. Why did Iran choose Prince Sultan Air Base? Because attacking this base sends multiple messages simultaneously. Message 1 to America: your forces aren't safe anywhere. You think you're untouchable in Saudi Arabia behind Patriot batteries and advanced defenses? We can reach you, we can target you, and next time we might get through. Message 2 to Saudi Arabia: hosting American troops makes you a target. You wanted us protection from Iran? Congratulations, now Iranian missiles are landing on your territory because of that protection. Message 3 to other Gulf states: look what happens when you let America use your bases. Kuwait, Qatar, you're watching this. Do you want Iranian missiles targeting your soil next? Prince Sultan Air Base isn't just a military facility. It's a symbol of American power projection in the Gulf. It's the logistics hub that enables US air dominance over Iran, Iraq, Syria, Yemen. It hosts the reconnaissance assets tracking Iranian military movements 24 hours a day. Iran wants that base closed. They can't close it with diplomacy, so they're using missiles to make hosting American forces too expensive and too dangerous for Saudi Arabia to tolerate. Let me tell you about the missiles Iran fired because this matters for understanding what's coming next. The Khyber-Shikan missile was first revealed in 2022. Solid fuel propulsion means it can launch within minutes of receiving orders. Minimal warning time for defenders. Range of 1,450 kilometers, enough to hit any target in Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Kuwait from launch sites inside Iran. The warhead is a maneuverable re-entry vehicle. That means it doesn't follow a predictable arc. It can adjust trajectory during terminal phase, making interception exponentially harder. US intelligence estimates these missiles have a circular error probable of less than 50 meters. That means half of all missiles fired land within 50 meters of the target. That's precision strike capability. And here's the economics. Each Iranian missile costs approximately $500,000 to manufacture. Each Patriot interceptor fired to stop it costs $3 to $4 million. That's a 6-to-1 cost ratio in Iran's favor. Saudi Arabia doesn't make these interceptors. Every missile fired depletes a stockpile that takes months to replenish. Iran can fire 50 missiles in one night and force Saudi Arabia to burn through $200 million worth of interceptors. This is attrition warfare. Iran doesn't need to destroy the base. They just need to drain the interceptor stockpiles until the cupboard is bare. So can Saudi and American defenses stop sustained Iranian missile attacks? Maybe. For a while, then probably not. Saudi Arabia operates 16 Patriot batteries, each with approximately 60 interceptors. That's 960 total missiles. Sounds like a lot until you run the numbers. If Iran launches sustained attacks burning through 50 to 100 interceptors per day, the stockpile runs dry in 2 weeks. And the United States doesn't have unlimited interceptors to replace them. American Patriot production runs at about 500 missiles per year globally. Demand from Ukraine, Israel, and Gulf allies has stretched that inventory thin. During recent conflicts in Israel, the U.S. transferred interceptors from its own stockpiles to keep Israeli defenses operational. Those stockpiles haven't been fully replenished. So when Iran fires missiles at Prince Sultan Air Base, they're not just testing defenses, they're depleting finite resources that cannot be quickly replaced. And Iran has hundreds, possibly thousands of ballistic missiles in underground facilities across the country. The defenses worked this time. But what happens when Iran fires not 3 missiles but 30? What happens when they combine ballistic missiles with cruise missiles and drones saturating defenses from multiple vectors? The math doesn't favor the defenders. This attack puts Saudi Arabia in an impossible position, and this is the real story. For decades, the deal was simple. Saudi Arabia hosts American bases and aligns with Washington. In return, America defends Saudi Arabia from Iran. That deal just got stress-tested. Iran fired missiles at American personnel on Saudi soil. The defenses worked, but now Saudi Arabia has to ask, is hosting American troops worth becoming a target for Iranian missiles? Because here's the paradox, Saudi Arabia needs American military support to balance against Iran. But American military presence also makes Saudi Arabia a target. Security comes with risk. And if Iran keeps firing missiles, eventually some will get through. Eventually, American troops might take casualties. And if Americans die on Saudi soil, the political pressure in Washington to either escalate massively or withdraw entirely becomes overwhelming. Neither option is good for Saudi Arabia. Escalation means Saudi oil. Infrastructure becomes a permanent target for Iranian retaliation. Withdrawal means Saudi Arabia loses its security guarantor and becomes vulnerable to Iranian pressure. The Way faced this exact calculation 2 years ago and quietly asked American forces to reduce their presence. Kuwait has been hedging for years. Qatar hosts the largest American air base in the region but also maintains diplomatic relations with Iran. Every Gulf state is trying to thread the same needle, benefit from American protection, without becoming a target for Iranian retaliation. This strike proves that's impossible. Let me explain why this attack matters for your wallet. Saudi Arabia produces 10 million barrels of oil per day. That's 10% of global supply. If Saudi oil infrastructure becomes a sustained target for Iranian missile strikes, oil prices explode. We've seen this before. In 2019, Iranian drones and cruise missiles hit Saudi Aramco facilities, temporarily knocking out 5.7 million barrels per day of production. Oil prices spiked 15% in a single day. That was one strike. Imagine sustained campaigns over weeks or months. $150 per barrel oil. $6 per gallon gasoline in the United States. Inflation hitting double digits. Global recession risks spiking. Iran knows this. They know they can't defeat America militarily, but they can make the economic cost of fighting Iran unbearable, attack Saudi oil, drive up prices, hurt American families at the pump, create domestic pressure on Trump to end the war. That's Iran's strategy, and targeting Prince Sultan Air Base is step 1. Step 2 is targeting Saudi oil facilities, and when that happens, gas prices in America go through the roof. So what can Trump do about this? Option 1. Retaliate massively against Iran. Hit Iranian missile production facilities, launch sites, command centers. Show Iran that attacking American forces has consequences. Problem: Iran has scattered and hardened its missile infrastructure across the country. You can't destroy it all with airstrikes and massive retaliation. Might push Iran to strike Saudi oil facilities in response. Option 2, do nothing publicly but increase defenses. Send more Patriot batteries, more interceptors, more surveillance assets to protect the base. Problem: that's reactive. Iran can fire missiles faster than America can ship interceptors, and it looks weak. Iran attacks American troops and America just adds more defenses instead of hitting back. Option 3. Withdraw American forces from Saudi Arabia. Remove the target Iran is aiming at. Problem: that's exactly what Iran wants. It undermines the entire U.S. security guarantee in the Gulf. Every other ally starts questioning whether America will actually defend them. Trump is in a box. Every option has major downsides, and Iran knows it. So where does this go from here? Iran just demonstrated they can target American forces in Saudi Arabia. The defenses worked this time, but Iran now knows the base is vulnerable. They know the defenses can be overwhelmed. They know Saudi Arabia is terrified of being caught in the crossfire. Expect more attacks, maybe not tomorrow, maybe not next week, but they're coming. Iran will keep testing the defenses, keep forcing Saudi Arabia to burn through interceptors, keep making the cost of hosting American troops unbearable. Saudi Arabia will quietly start asking whether they can reduce the American military footprint, not eliminate it entirely, just make it less visible. Fewer troops, fewer jets, lower profile, and the United States will have to decide whether defending Gulf allies is worth the cost in money, interceptors, and potentially American lives. This isn't a one-time event. This is a new pattern. Iran has crossed the threshold of directly targeting US forces on Allied soil, and they're not going back. Iran fired ballistic missiles at Prince Sultan Air Base in Saudi Arabia. 2,500 American troops stationed there, F-22 Raptors, F-15 Strike Eagles, the heart of American air power in the Middle East. The defenses worked this time. No casualties, no damage, but the precedent is set. Iran has demonstrated both the capability and the willingness to strike US forces on Allied soil. Saudi Arabia now has to decide whether hosting American troops is worth becoming a target, and America has to decide whether defending Gulf allies is worth the cost. This conflict just expanded beyond Iran's borders, and your gas prices are about to feel it. What do you think happens next? Does Iran strike again? Does Saudi Arabia ask American forces to leave? Drop your take in the comments. Subscribe to Strategic Signal Report for daily updates. This is expanding, not ending. For Strategic Signal Report, I'm Sarah Mitchell. Iran attacked American troops in Saudi Arabia. The war just got bigger. See you in the next one.